Well, welcome everybody to Nicole Sauce's Thought of the Walk. And today I'm going to talk about something that a listener asked to see more about. You see, about a month ago, I talked to you about how taking just the one step you can take is what moves you forward. And as an example, I showed my solar water heater. The solar water heater is a lot less expensive to install than solar panels. And when you install solar panels, if you're not pumping back into the grid, you also need to have a battery storage area or a battery bank, and that also costs money. And then what happens once you use the sun to generate power is that you need to think real carefully about how much power you're using, because it's, every additional light bulb you turn on increases the cost of your solar electricity system. And as I've gotten to know more about solar and reducing my energy footprint and reducing my reliance on the grid by talking to Sean Mills at Hack My Solar mostly, he says, you look at the more efficient uses of sun, right? So an example of this, you can put in solar panels in a battery bank and then use that electricity to power an electric water heater. This is actually a gas one, but you know what I mean. That's really inefficient. What's more efficient is throwing water on your roof and letting the sun heat it. The trade-off you have there is that at noon, your water's hot, and in the evening, it's not as hot when the sun goes down. And so what happens in your lifestyle is you start changing when you use the hot water if you want to optimize this situation. Well, I like the best of both worlds. I'm a woman who enjoys conveniences. So I have a system that's installed with the water circulating through the roof. And then before it comes into my house, it goes through this bad boy, which is a tankless water heater that brings it. I had to get one that was a little bit more expensive. It brings it from whatever temperature it's at to 120 degrees. And in that way, if I have 80-degree water coming in, that's a lot warmer than 55-degree water that's coming out of my well. So that brings me forward and reduces my need for propane to heat the water. And that's awesome. Well, I showed the system outside. And I'll put the link to that Thought of the Walk in case you didn't see it. And somebody said, well, how does it look inside? And so today I'm inside. And here's what's going on. Right now I am showing you the 55-gallon propane water heater that used to be my water heater. When we put in this system, we made it so I can still use this water heater. If that means if everything breaks and I'm screwed, I have a backup water heater if I don't have any money to fix it, or it's an ice storm, which is when things like to break. And I left that in the system for one sole purpose, and that's hot water storage. So this is now, instead of a hot water heater, it is a hot water storage tank. And the way it works is that water comes into the house, the cold water comes into the house, and it goes up all the way up to here to a blue pipe that I am pointing to on the video. And if you can't see it, just think water goes to a blue pipe and splits. One pipe goes in the house blue and is cold water. One pipe goes outside and into the roof to heat. So that's circulating through the water heater. And then, once it's circulated through, we're like color-coded here, it comes back through a red pipe heated by the sun. What it's doing on the roof is it's going through a coil of copper. And that hot water then comes into where the cold water used to come in on my hot water heater, which, we have all these check valves and such. And then it's stored in a well-insulated tank, which is what a hot water heater is, or a water heater is. And the key to making this all work is to have a fitting at the bottom of the hot water heater where you would usually drain it every year to clear out the calcified water. And it's a hose adapter that goes from that to to my PEX, to my 1/2-inch PEX that I'm using. Okay? So that comes out and then goes back up to a pump that has been chosen carefully that can handle hot water, because the water gets hot that's circulating through this. And then it circulates back up And you see the T there. I'm going to point to it. There's a T up there. This is water coming in from the actual spring. This is water going back out through the water heater. So basically we've created a circle, right? And then the water comes, also, that's part of the T. I told you the wrong thing about the T. So the T goes two places. One, it will circulate back out through the water heater. Two, if the water's turned on, it will then go to this tankless on demand to heat and go back into the house. So that is how the system works. And really what you're doing is you're creating this loop in your hot water heater that circulates water to the roof. And your hot water heater, if you have a tanked one, becomes a storage tank. If you find one where something's broken but it's not leaking, you can just put a tank in. That's the way a lot of people do it. And then there's a T in the loop of circulating water that goes to the hot water tankless heater to heat it up to 120 degrees. Then it goes in the house, and that's my hot water. And I can tell you this, as a result of using this system for just about 2 months, $100 less on propane this year. I'll know next year how much I save in a year. There are two things impacting this. One, that tankless water heater reduces the cost because I'm not just heating water all the time. And two, I'm not heating water right now. Like, I just heard it go on, and then the hot water, like, it went on saying, oh, I need to turn on and heat, and it went, oh, never mind. Water's hot enough, it turns off again. And that's kind of awesome. That's why, what I've done differently now is I do laundry and dishes, like run the dishwasher in the middle of the day on a sunny day like this, because it's really kind of, I mean, it might as well. By the way, I wanted to show you something else. That right there, can you see her? Let's see if I can get her. There she is. That is a big spider, like a Charlotte Web spider. I forget what they're called right now. I think it's a orb spider. Big yellow and black orb spider. We're just going to let her stay. She's also got an egg sac, and I told Tactical maybe we should relocate her egg sac when she goes away for the winter, because they'll all hatch, and I'm not sure I want a million orb spiders, but she's moved in, which means when I stay in this baby in a couple weeks, probably going to just stay away from that little area and let her go through her cycle and then touch it up in the spring. It's kind of a cool thing. I had to look up what she was. I knew it wasn't poisonous, so she's been living there for a couple of weeks. Make it a great week, guys.